Imagine attending a funeral and suddenly realizing the person being buried is you. That is exactly what happened in a quiet African village many years ago. Because on that day, a man walked into his own funeral. Long before the roads reached the quiet village of Adegbu, the elders used to tell a story that made even the bravest listeners sit closer to the fire. It was not a story about war. It was not a story about spirits haunting the forest. It was the story of a man who attended his own funeral. And those who witnessed it swore that what happened that evening was something no living person could ever forget. In the village of Adegbu lived a man named Obinna. Obinna was known as a hardworking farmer. Every morning before the sun rose, he would walk toward his farm carrying his hoe across his shoulder. The red soil of the land stained his hands every day, but the villagers respected him for his kindness and humility. Whenever someone needed help repairing a roof or clearing a farm, Obinna was always there. Yet there was one thing about him that people often whispered about when he was not around. Obinna loved the forest more than anyone else in the village. While most villagers avoided the deeper part of the forest, Obinna often wandered there alone. Sometimes he disappeared for hours. Sometimes until sunset. Whenever people asked him what he did there, he simply smiled and said the forest was peaceful. But the elders of Adegbu believed the forest held more than trees and animals. They believed that some parts belonged to the spirits. And those parts were not meant for ordinary men. One early morning, while the village was still waking, a hunter named Chak walked through the forest on his way home. As he followed the narrow path near the sacred grove, something strange caught his attention. A man was lying on the ground. At first, Chak thought the man might be injured. But when he stepped closer, his heart nearly stopped. Because the face staring back at him looked exactly like Obinna. And the body was cold. Very cold. Fear gripped Chak instantly. Without wasting another moment, he ran as fast as he could toward the village. Dust rose behind him as he burst into the village square, shouting for the elders. The villagers gathered around him quickly, sensing that something terrible had happened. And when he finally spoke the name of the man he had found in the forest, the entire village fell silent. A group of men followed Chak back into the forest. They walked quietly along the path until they reached the place he had described. And there, lying beneath the trees, was the body. The clothes were Obinna's. The face was Obinna's. No one spoke as they carried the body back to the village. The fear in their eyes told the villagers everything they needed to know. Obinna was dead. That afternoon, Obinna's compound filled with mourners. Women cried loudly as tradition demanded. Men gathered in small groups, shaking their heads in disbelief. The elders examined the body carefully. But there were no wounds. No signs of struggle. Just a lifeless man who looked exactly like Obinna. Following the customs of Adegbu, the funeral was prepared for the next evening. As the sun began to set the following day, the entire village gathered for the burial. Slow funeral drums echoed across the village. The air felt heavy with grief. At the center of the gathering lay the wrapped body, ready to be buried. The elders stood beside it, preparing to begin the final rites. But before the burial could begin, something impossible happened. From the narrow path leading into the village, a man slowly walked toward the crowd. At first, no one noticed him. But an old woman sitting near the edge of the gathering suddenly looked up. Her eyes widened with shock. Her hand began to tremble as she pointed toward the approaching figure. Then she screamed a name that froze every heart in the village. Obinna. The drum stopped instantly. Mourners turned in disbelief. And there he was. Obinna. Alive. Standing before them, while his body lay dead at the center of the funeral. Fear spread through the crowd like wildfire. Some villagers ran. others fell to their knees. Because everyone present had seen the body with their own eyes. Confused and frightened, Obinna slowly walked toward the body prepared for burial. The elder, Iznedi, raised his hand for silence. He looked carefully at the man standing before him. Then he asked a simple question. "Who are you?" The man answered quietly. "My name is Obinna." The elder then pointed toward the wrapped body. "If you are Obinna, then who lies there?" When the cloth was lifted from the corpse, gasps echoed across the entire village. Because the face of the dead man was identical to the living one. With fear spreading through the crowd, the elders gathered together. After a long silence, Iznedi spoke.
My people, the shadows grow long.
He explained that sometimes the world of the living and the world of the spirits cross paths in ways humans could not understand.
We must stand neither and
He
face
believed
this
that
trial.
Obinna had
With
wandered
courage
too
we
close to the
overcome.
land of the dead.
My people, the shadows grow long.
For a brief moment,
We must stand neither
the
and
spirits
face
had
this
taken
trial.
him.
With courage we will overcome.
But somehow, they
My
had
people, the
returned
shadows grow
him.
long. We must
The
stand neither
elders
and face
ordered the
this
strange body to be buried immediately outside the village. No one was allowed to uncover its face again. The villagers obeyed in silence, still shaken by what they had witnessed. But even after the burial, the fear in their hearts did not fade. Life in Adegbil slowly returned to normal. But Obinna was never the same. He stopped walking into the forest. He spoke less to the villagers. And many evenings, people saw him sitting alone beneath the great Iroko tree, staring toward the dark forest in silence. Even today, the elders still tell the story of that strange funeral. And they end it with a warning. Because when a man attends his own funeral, it means the spirits have already called his name.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Adex Story Empire for more interesting stories.